What's up, guys? We are back with another Bandai Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts review, taking a look at, well, you can't have Dragon Ball Figuarts without having a Goku, right? Even when it's really not his movie, he of course gets a new figure. So this is the Dragon Ball Superhero Goku, of course from the most recent movie that came out here in the States a few weeks back. Now he comes in standard Figuart style packaging, so you got the figure there in the big window, you got product shot on the front, you've got sort of a brown backer motif for this particular superhero subline, product shots on the spine, and then the back in typical fashion gives you a spread of the accessories and showcases how he moves with a bunch of product shots. So let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Dragon Ball Superhero Goku. Of course, this is in the same way that the Piccolo and the Vegeta figure were more base level, budget style figures. This is very much more of the same. So we got a lot of parts reuse here. And it's basically the Saiyan raised on Earth Goku with a few changes. It's not exactly the same figure. It's kind of similar to how they've done Piccolo and Vegeta, really. So basically the same figure, but there are some new parts here, some changes for this particular figure. And then, of course, a decidedly different deco style for sure when it comes to what's different about regular Dragon Ball Z versus this particular movie. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. If you have Saiyan raised on Earth Goku, you kind of know what's going on here, but it's not exactly the same. If anything, this figure does move slightly better. So he's got a head that can look up about that far, look down really good as usual. We've got our tilt side to side, full rotation. The neck does, of course, move to help aid in that movement. The arms here can go out. You've got to watch the shoulder pads. They go out about that far. They rotate. You do have a slight drop down. There is a butterfly here to get his arm out and across his chest. We've got a bicep swivel up there. We've got, of course, our double jointed elbows. You've got your ball hinges, so hinge in and out and then rotate that ball however you need to get it going in any direction. Pretty good range there. The cuffs don't get in the way too much. One area that he is definitely different, though, is the torso. It's not the same piece as the Saiyan raised on Earth. The upper torso, anyway. I believe the abs is the same piece, but this is a different piece. And if anything, it has better range of motion than the previous, the Saiyan raised on Earth Goku is basically the standard at this point. So we've got Super Saiyan 4, which is its own thing for now, but Saiyan raised on Earth is still kind of the base plate for everything. So this is about how far forward he goes. And then you've got tilt side to side, but he twists a lot easier now. I know the Saiyan raised on Earth Goku, that's such a mouthful to say, is hard to get in any kind of twist. It doesn't really want to go a lot of times. There's not much clearance, but there's a lot more clearance with this particular upper torso, so I do like that. Legs go out about this far. Now this, of course, is one of the sticking points of this particular body. The legs aren't the greatest, but they're pretty good. They do kick forward really nicely, though. And then they kick backward super far. You do have a twist up there. And then we've got our double jointed knees, of course. They go back about that far. We've got baggy pants, so they only go so far, but that's pretty good. Probably enough. And then down at the ankles, you've got rotation. We've got decent rocker. It's better inward than outward, but it's still pretty good. And then you've got a pretty okay hinge down there too, as well as our ever-present toe articulation. So, I mean, it's still a solid figure. Like the Saiyan raised on Earth Goku is a pretty solid standard for a Goku, and this is basically the same. He just has that updated torso, which I do find to be just a little bit easier to move. It's not the greatest thing ever. It's certainly not a night and day difference, but it is easier to pose, and in general does help to manage this figure a little bit better. Now, as far as the overall look and feel, this is pretty much the same thing I felt about Vegeta, where it's a pretty solid figure. Like it's not exactly a normal Goku in the way that Vegeta isn't a normal Vegeta figure, because he's very different with the non-armored look. But this Goku is also changed up in a number of ways just to make him unique amongst what we already have. And I mean, let's be honest, we have a lot of Gokus, and this is still a standard Goku. There's no Super Saiyan here, none of that kind of stuff, so you're getting base form Goku. And we've got those. We've got some of those historically, of course. Some of them are super old at this point. But this offers enough changes, I think, that even if you have Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, you might still want to get this one. Because not only is the entire color palette different, we do, of course, have a different torso, upper torso, to work with here. There's a lot of shading on this figure, and I mean a lot, especially for a more budget style Figuarts. And then we do have our updated faces. Now, the one thing that's not going to really work with this figure like it sort of works with Vegeta is that you're not going to be able to swap stuff as easily between figures because the skin tones are really, really different here. So let's just pull in Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku real quick, and you can get an idea of what we're talking about. He's a very, very different shade of just, skin tone, really. The overall gi is entirely different. The blues are different, the boots are different, the cuffs are different, the belt color is different. Everything here is just a different level of orange, really. And then this particular figure does have a ton of shading. I say ton in the confines of Figuarts itself, where sometimes you get a decent amount, sometimes you get absolutely nothing, like here, really. But this, his entire pants have a gradient where they start this color orange, whatever you want to call this orange, and they go down to like a fiery orange. You've also got it on the stomach area too. Of course, we've got updated kanji logo on there. It's not the same, of course. It's supposed to be the same, but it's not the same really. And then you've got just different colors used across the board. So saturation is very much a different thing. So your mileage may vary on whether or not you like this version, but I'm pretty happy with it. I really like the way it looks, and it's unique enough that I can put it onto its own shelf and it can be its own thing, or I can relatively easily mix it into just about anything. It also does have this new style of face, which works really well, and it's very much themed to the movie, which is what it's supposed to be. But I think they're doing a really solid job because, again, there's a lot of little extra detail in some of these faces that we normally may not get. There's a lot of that little more hits of line work just to make it look more like the superhero style of animation, I think is what we're seeing here. And frankly, I think it's to the figure's benefit because it does look really good. Face is really clean, really crisp, and it just has enough of a difference again. That's kind of the theme for me right now is everything's just different enough to make this figure worthwhile if you already have, 19 other Goku. So really solid looking figure. Again, it's built on a base figure that we kind of know at this point that is still really solid, but with enough changes to make him into something very unique and different. Now, as far as accessories goes, just like the other figures in this subline for superhero, they're all kind of a base price point, so we don't get tons of stuff. We get a decent amount, but it's not anything truly new or groundbreaking. It's all normal stuff. We do get some really cool faceplates for this particular Goku, but you're not going to get any extra hair, and you're not going to get any extra heads because, of course, based on this movie, there is no Super Saiyan. So, as far as our Saiyans in this line so far. So we've got hands to talk about first. We've got a set, and of course a set is 2 of the clawed style, fighting pose hands. We've got a set of wide grip, so Kamehameha style hands, of course no effect part. And then we get a set of wide, fingers splayed hands, and then we get a unique right hand that is, instant transmission 2-finger pose. So you get 7 extra hands, 9 total, considering he comes with fists in the box. We've got the sort of, normal, determined, stoic-ish style head on him in the box, or face rather. We get a faceplate for him looking off to his left with a little bit of a smirk, so a different kind of determined. And then we get a full-on screaming, yelling, which just looks tremendous. I absolutely love this faceplate. You can see everything, all the mouth, all the teeth, the tongue, the whole deal's super wide, bright eyes. And then the last face we get is a very, sort of excited, sort of scared almost, or worried. This is kind of a faceplate where, Chi-Chi's mad at him or something like that, or, where he's in shock or of some kind. So something like this in particular, we don't get these too often anymore. So I am pretty happy we got something like that in this box. So he does come with a solid amount of accessories. Frankly, I'm happy with everything he has in the box. I'm going to say it again. I would always love to get another effect part because, of course, it is such an integral part of Dragon Ball. But I understand based on the price point, it's definitely not going to happen here. So he does come with some solid faces and a good smattering of hands. So you do have a bunch of options just to change up his look in this package. So yeah, overall, really happy with this figure. Just like the Vegeta and Piccolo before him, I have been very much a fan of these superhero Figuarts. I think the big thing is ultimately that while they are more on the base price point level, so they don't have a tremendous amount of accessories, they don't offer lots and lots of new stuff, what they do bring to the table is enough to make them unique and to make them fun. And even if you want to keep them separate from your Z or just your regular Super shelves, these guys can still mix in with everything else just fine. They look fantastic, they all move really good, but Goku is built on a figure that we already are very familiar with, and it does have a small enough change that does, frankly, make a big difference. Like, it's not the biggest change to have that new torso, but it makes a lot of difference for me, not to mention the fact that I'm really liking this color palette, and I really like some of these new faces. So that's going to do it for this look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Superhero Goku. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.